Hey, what's up guys? Thank you so much for clicking on the video. My name is Alex from Lenspo and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. During my 2 years of filming, my main question still remains: how to communicate with a client? And the question here is how to set up your price, what things to include into the price list, what mistakes to avoid in order to have a happy client and a happy life. Today's video is focused more on beginners filmmakers, but maybe you will find something useful in this list as well. In the description down below you can find the link where you can download a PDF file so you can remember all those steps when you communicate them to your client. Point number 1. Never communicate your price on the first call. Usually when clients called me, especially in the beginning, I was tend to give them my price straight away on the first call, and usually it was the lowest I could possibly offer because I was so afraid to lose a client. But the thing is that I didn't take into consideration what exactly was to be done. My answer was simply, yes, of course I can film you a video that my price is this and that. But then I realized that there was actually more work that needs to be done than the price I set, and it was quite a frustrating experience for me. So first thing that you would need to do is to actually ask as many questions as you possibly can to understand what your client wants. Usually the first question I tend to ask on which platform this video will be used, because with this you need to evaluate whether you will be filming vertically or horizontally, and this is a very important question nowadays. Besides, it can change the actual perspective of your thinking, as well as some gear that you might need in order for you to film vertically, because not everyone, let's be clear, has the possibility to film vertically and they might need additional gear for that. The next question I usually ask is how long do they expect this video to come out? Because with this question you can evaluate how much of effort you will put into the project in order for you to tell the perfect price for you. After you found out where this video is gonna be used and how long it's gonna be, you need to ask your client whether they have some ideas regarding the project, or you need to come up with your own ideas. For that, you would need to ask for some reference videos. Maybe you already filmed something that they like, maybe they saw some commercial music video that they like how it looks, and this will help you to further evaluate how difficult this project is gonna be and whether you can do that or no, and this is a very important step. After you've got all your answers, you would need to tell to a client, thank you so much for your request and all the provided information. Now I would need some time, few hours or a day to evaluate your request, and I will come back to you. And usually it works fine because everyone understands that you cannot tell the price straight away, you really need to think about it. Don't be afraid to take your time and space and to really think about the project. Don't go there like dive into it straight away. Now that you have all the information you need to come up with a creative idea how to film the project. And you would need to write some scenes, some cuts, and write them down, because whenever you send the price list and your proposal to a client, you would need to do it in written, because otherwise, if you say something on the phone, people tend to forget. So everything you do, try to communicate as much as possible in written, not in audio messages. You need to write everything down. Whatever is written on the paper is the proof and the fact that you actually spoke about that and they agreed to that. Because otherwise, believe me, you might have some problems on the set. Things that you need to include into your price list. In order for you to come up with a price list, you would need to know the price range in your country. You cannot listen to some Czech guy or American guy who will tell you that they filmed for this and that price. Or when you see all those ads and YouTube videos when they say, do you want to make 100,000 US dollars a year? It might be the same for you, but you might live in a different country and then the price range might be totally different. So in order for you to understand how the price works altogether, you would need to know someone, some freelancer who is already making a living off of videos, and ask them how does it work, what they can recommend, or how much would they take for this and that project. Then of course you would need to evaluate whether you can provide the same quality or no, but generally speaking you need to to understand where the price goes when it comes to this and that project, and from that you can already decide how much do you want to take, because you cannot say some ridiculous prices which will never be confirmed in your country. First thing to include into the price list is your own skill. It means that how much would you get just for being there. Even if you didn't have any gear, any lights, any gimbals, how much would it take to come up to the set, take the camera they provided you with into your hands and start filming. And with that, you can take the price per filming day, or you can take the price per filming hour. I usually take price per filming day because I like to save time and have a lot of experience, for example, filming different stuff. And then, for example, if I take a price per filming hour, then everyone will be in stress and everyone will count hours. You cannot take a break because they will start complaining. Why do you go for the break? Why do it takes you so long to eat your food and stuff like this? I think it's less stressful and more reliable to take a price per filming day, as well as you can take the price per editing day and per editing hour as well. With more experience you have, the faster you will do your edits. So I don't see why would you, for example, say the price, I don't know, for 3 hours when it's gonna be, I don't know, some extreme example, $100 per editing hour, or you can tell the price $300 per editing day and you can finish the project, for example, in 1 hour. But of course, it's just my opinion, so you know that you can set up a price per day or per hour. This is already up to you. The next thing is actually that took me by surprise and I didn't know that I have to include it into my price list, is your own gear. For example, if you have a camera, you have a gimbal, you have a light, you have anything else, is to be included into the price list, because otherwise they are paying you for your skill. They are not paying you for the things you have. For the things you have, they pay additionally, because anyways, if they ask someone to work, for example, when you start in a new company, you come there and they provide you with a PC, they provide you with a laptop, they provide you with tools you need to accomplish your work. And with this set, you would need to include your camera, your gimbal, your lights separately from your own price. And this was very surprising for me when I understood that. Actually, the friend of mine who is already a good freelancer, filmmaker, told me that I need to include this into my price list. And I was really clueless about that one. The next thing is, of course, renting your gear. If you came up with a creative idea and you understand that something is missing from your own gear in order for you to make it happen, then you need to advise them, okay, we would need to buy this and that, or for example, we would need to rent out this and that will cost you that much, for example. The next thing, you would need to understand whether you can make this project alone or you need some additional help. And you need to include additional people into your price list as well. You will not be paying for them from your own pocket. People you might need on set are the people who are setting the light, camera assistant. Then, for example, you can simply ask someone to help you to carry on your stuff. And everyone who is on set needs to be included into the price list. If you can make it happen alone, then you need to include on your price. But I would highly recommend you to start taking as many people as you can on the set, so you can be concentrated on the creative side of things as much as possible and not setting up all those heavy things alone. And the last but not least is the price for guests. You need to somehow get onto the set. Therefore, they need to pay your road trip. As well as, if it's a bigger client, you can ask for the food. When you already have the price list set up, it is very important to tell to a client that the price they see is without taxes. Because afterwards, for example, here in Czech Republic, I tend to say, for example, $100, and then they asked me to provide them with an invoice. And it means that from this $100, I get 25% less, because I need to pay government taxes. And this is very important because I burned a lot on that and now I have to pay taxes from my own pocket. So now some rules to communicate to your client in order for you to avoid as many complications as possible, so your client can clearly understand how it's gonna go and when they're gonna have their project ready. First and very important thing is to take some money in advance just to book a date. I cannot emphasize it more. You cannot imagine how many times in the beginning it happened to me that we already agreed on the date and then some other client called me and told me that they would wanna film the same date, and I told them, I'm sorry, but I already have a client this day, and they said, okay, we will try to find someone else, for example, if they cannot change the date. And then the client which booked this date called me and told me, I'm sorry, we are not gonna be filming this date, we will come back to you. And whether they come back or not, sometimes they didn't even come back to me. You will lose both clients, you will lose money and you will be in stress. So take 50% in advance. At this point, if your client will send you 50% in advance, you will know that they actually take it seriously and they want to work with you. Otherwise, if they start telling you, oh, we still cannot, we will let you know later, you can understand that you can find some other clients, and this is very important. Second very important thing is do not give any discounts. Of course, if it's your friends, then you can. But otherwise, if your client is not willing to film more videos with you, for example, they tell you, okay, we would like to film up to 10 videos with you, then you can give them some discount, but only in case they are willing to pay, for example, 50% of the total price in advance. The whole project, not for one video. Because there was a case when we gave a discount for politicians which we were filming, and they requested us 30 videos. Of course we gave them the discount. 30 videos is a huge project. And it ended up that we didn't take no money in advance, and then they filmed just one video and they never came back to us. Therefore, we filmed one video for the extremely low price, and this was an unfortunate. Don't do my mistakes. The next thing to clearly communicate to a client is how many revisions do they have, how many times can they interfere into your work, and this is very important as well, because if you do not communicate to a client, for example, that you have 2, 3, 4 revisions in the beginning, then it means that they can change little details one by one and they will not be paying attention to the whole project. And it happened to me as well that I was changing the video, for example, 10 times. It doesn't happen that often because usually clients are satisfied on the first try, but it can happen, and you will be tweaking all those little details one by one because they didn't look at the video as whole, or they liked it how it was before and now they want to change it and now they want to change it back and stuff like this, and they always come up with something to make this video better. Therefore, you need to clearly tell them how many times can they change this project afterwards. And for example, if you said, I usually say 2 revisions, because as my good friend told me, the first time they want to change something, the second time they want to go back because they didn't like how they change it, and if they want to change it for the third time, they simply don't know what they want. And if you do not communicate the revisions in the beginning, that you cannot complain in the end, and you would need to change and tweak all those stuff for free. And for your revisions, you would need to tell them how much will it cost them to make additional changes in the video. And usually what I tend to do is to tell them that it depends on how much work will it take me to change this stuff. Because for example, if they would like to change music, this is a huge thing because you already edited your video on the music. Therefore, you would need to revise and reevaluate the whole video because you have a vibe, you have a feeling, you have ups and downs in the music, and it cannot be changed that easily. And usually clients do not understand all those small details. Therefore, this is your mistake for not communicating those details to your client, and you will suffer in the end if you don't pay attention to those. And the last very important thing is delivery date. Because, for example, it happened to me that I told my clients that, okay, the project will be ready just in a few days because I really had time to do that in a few days. But then some other client called me and said that they needed me urgently and I really needed money. Therefore, I would need to go back to my client, tell them that, okay, I'm sorry, but I would need to move the delivery date, and this is not the best thing to do because they might do not recommend you to the further clients because of that. And believe me, that happened as well. Therefore, set your delivery date with a few weeks, additional weeks for editing, just in case you get ill, you get some other projects, anything that can happen, have some safe 2 or 3 weeks for you. Do not underestimate all those steps you take in communicating to your clients, because I can see it everywhere. My colleagues, filmmakers, write me, oh, I don't have time, there is so much work and I need to call every single client and to move the delivery date and stuff like this. And they have all these problems and their clients getting mad at them because their projects are not delivered on time. Really, take some time to evaluate when it's gonna be ready. This is very important. And then you can take your client by surprise. For example, you said that this project is gonna be delivered in 3 weeks, but then you made it in 1 week. And then this client is happy and they will tend to recommend you further and tell that, oh, it was so fast, I didn't expect that, this is so cool and thank you so much. And they will be really grateful, because you knew that you can deliver the project 1 week earlier, for example, but they didn't, and they do not expect this kind of, I don't know the word in English for that, but they didn't expect you to be that thorough and that fast and that reliable, and this is a huge plus for you. Okay, now our project is communicated, agreed, filmed, edited, and is ready to be delivered. Do not deliver unless you are paid. So, for example, what I do in order for me to get paid is I include my logo as a watermark on the video, the huge one with the overlay. And then once they said that, okay, we like this project, send us the original one, then I ask them to send me the rest of the money and then I deliver the product. Because when you go to a shop, you do not take the product and then pay. If your client already saw the video, then they know that the project is ready and they like it. Therefore, first they pay, then you deliver. It happened to a friend of mine, it didn't happen to me. But he delivered photos which were used then on social platforms, but he never got paid for that. And this was such an unpleasant experience that you don't want to go through this. Therefore, be on the safe side, include watermarks whether it's video or photos. Always make something extra for your client as a cherry on top. For example, if you agreed on 10 photos, send them 15. If you agreed on 1 video, send them 1 video and then, for example, a teaser. If you agreed on a music video, then send them a teaser, and for social platform, for YouTube, send them some cool photo for the music video, because they do not expect that. So tend to do something extra every single time, because this is how people will remember you, and this is why they will come back to you, because they get something extra with the price they paid, and people love free stuff. Always try to set high prices with every single project if you are in a position to lose a customer. For example, if you have a lot of clients and you already don't have time to edit your videos, to film your videos, you can take additional clients. But if you are ready to lose them, try to set up higher prices every single time. For example, now I'm setting higher prices over and over and over again to understand where is my limit and where is the limit for the clients. And till this point, every single time I tell higher prices, I'm still under the general price range in my country. And that's why every single time I get a yes. But even if I get a no, it simply means that this is not my client. And this leads us to the next point. I have a really good freelancer friend, and he is filming the lowest price they take is $2,000, which is a crazy price in Czech Republic. And if someone come to them and tell, we want $1,500, that's all we got, he simply says no, because not every single client is your client. Do not be afraid to lose some client, because you will get another one. And there are so many people, so many companies, and so many different stuff you can film and spend your free time to. For example, I'm making those YouTube videos when I have a free time, and you really need to value your time. So do not be frustrated when someone says that the price is too high. It simply means that you would rather work with someone who actually values your work instead of working with someone who just wanna do some cheap stuff. And then I can tell you, usually the people who pay less complain the most. The most difficult projects in my experience were the projects which were paid the less money. Once a client pays more, they usually tend to like your videos more. I don't know how it works, but believe me, it works like this. From my own experience, I can tell you that once I had a client who wasn't satisfied with my work. I came to another city to film a project, I delivered the project, then there were 10 to 15 changes in the project, because the client simply didn't know what she wanted. And she always told me to change this and that, and in the end she wasn't satisfied. So I clearly asked her, how does she imagine this work to be done? What she wants from my side? And she didn't know the answer for that question. So with this said, bad clients are inevitable. Do not judge yourself upon these clients. Sometimes things happen. Not everyone will like your work. Not everyone will be satisfied with the service you provide. It is okay. Move on. Forget about that. You already got your 50% of the price, at least you got that. I am reading a book now which is called Big Money Energy, and I really liked one sentence in this book which is stated, being likable is your advantage. I can tell you from my own experience, if you're a good person, you have a good client communication, those clients will tend more likely to come back to you and recommend you further. I can tell you that some of my colleagues, filmmakers, tend to argue with their clients a lot. And this is not how you build your reputation, because it's very easy to get your reputation lower and no one will contact you. And being likable is what will push you further. It doesn't mean that you will kiss everyone. It only means that you're a good person. You communicate with your client as please, of course, sure, no problem, and stuff like this. You do not tell them that their ideas are bad. You do not tell them that this is wrong or this is wrong. You simply communicate with them. And usually, if you set all the rules in advance, it means, and you understand the work and you get all the references, it means that you will avoid those complications. Because once it happened to me also that I filmed a video and client wasn't satisfied, I told them, okay, can you send me reference videos? This is the point when I started taking reference videos. And the client told me, oh, really like this video you made. And I told them, okay, no problem, I will come and we will film it once more. And because I clearly understood that the problem was on my side for not clearly communicating what we are gonna be filming, they didn't like it, and this was my fault, therefore I went there and I changed it. But the other friend of mine, for example from filmmaking world, he was taking some photos and he had a mood board. And he went away from this mood board and then he delivered his photos and he never got paid because the agency that hired him told him, you had your mood board, please come and film it once more. And he refused because he told, my photos look better than your mood board. But this is not what you should tell to a client, and I would not include this in this video if it didn't happen in real life. Woo, it was a long video, but I hope that I came across all the main points I have now in my mind, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm just a beginner filmmaker from Czech Republic who knows how difficult it is to start in this industry and how many questions you have. Therefore, my goal and my dream is to inspire as many of you guys to follow your dreams. And with this said, I would highly appreciate if you leave me a like, comment down below, and consider subscribing to my channel for more upcoming content. I wish you a lot of success with your work, and I hope that now you understand client communication even better. And with this said, it was a pleasure serving you guys. And until next video, na shledanou.